Hey YouTube, it's Kimo Sabe here. For a request, I've had some ask about an Elliott Wave count for the entire history of Bitcoin, and there's several ways to count this, and nothing is set in stone. I mean, price action will move the way it moves. I've seen many counts where some people have counted this as like a one, two, all of that's three, four, five, and it's complete, and then you look for an ABC down, which hasn't happened yet, but this can be an expanded thing, and then you come back down. That's a plausible count. It's not my count, not the one that I've been working with since 2019 in this vicinity right here, where I was very heavily into Elliott Wave theory, and everything had to measure and match like perfectly. So you just take a low, I'm taking the trend-based fib extensions, and I'm measuring a leg up and then taking it or projecting it from the following leg down, like the low, and seeing where price action reacted. So from that, you had a reaction, didn't even make it to the 786 extension. We're currently coming up close at 123 to the 1-to-1 fib extension. That could mean something, maybe, maybe not. But in keeping with like the Elliott wave, the way that I usually do this is I will have a wave 1 project from 2. Wave 3 often comes to the 1.618 as a rule of thumb, and wave 5 would come to the 2.618. It's kind of a rule of thumb. It doesn't always happen, but generally you can kind of target those areas. But from what I've seen, like nothing really measured up taken from that leg. The mania phase of 2017, this was very mania, and that kind of indicates a wave 3 where you have maximum participation at the top, a lot of euphoria, a lot of people going crazy, and that's kind of when the media was picking up pretty heavily on Bitcoin back in 2017. So I was trying to pick that as some type of wave 3 somehow, some way. And I'm just taking measurements and finding from a low to a high to project that as a wave 3. So I'm taking the low from June of 2013 to the high of November 2013 as a wave 1. And then I'm projecting it from a possible wave 2 and seeing where price action ends up coming. And there you have a wave 3 that came to the 1.618 fib extension. So now I have a potential wave count that has me going to the 1.618 fib extension for a wave 3. I would expect a wave 4 and a wave 5 to get up to potentially 479,000. There, I tightened it up a little tighter, going from the second low, 1.618, and then 2.618, just under 400,000. So that's a potential target. And for adding confluence, you would want your wave 1 to wave 2 could be anywhere in here, doesn't really matter. 3, and then you have some kind of wave 4. Could have stopped there, could have stopped there. It could have stopped here for some kind of weird triangle. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is going to end up there. The way this looks, I was projecting from this being my wave 4 and expecting a wave 5 up to somewhere around 396. My number was 333 just because it was easy to remember. And when Bitcoin was trading around $6,000 to say, hey, it's going to 333, that's good enough. So for confluence, I would want the trend-based fib extension of wave 1 plus 3 projected from a potential bottoming of 4 to get to the 618 extension of that move from $65 to $19,000 projected from the $15,000 low, has a target of 482. So there's confluence up there for, somewhere in that vicinity of a 2.618 extension of wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and potentially having wave 1 plus 3 projected from 4, giving you a 618 extension upwards of $482,000. So that's kind of the way I've been counting it since 2019. And if that is indeed the count, and you have, well, let's mark off a little box up there around 482 to 280, somewhere in this vicinity, having a potential wave 5 peaking out. Let's take all these off, remembering where our wave 1 came from, and let's take a Fibonacci retracement from that wave 1 low to the potential of the, let's say 400,000. Let's just put it right there and see where the retracements come. So a wave 4 generally likes to retrace to the 382 and even the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, which would be in the vicinity of wave 4. And if your wave 4 is all of this, that should be your retracement zone for a wave 4, somewhere between 70,000 and 3,000 would be your buy zone. The way that I often see the wave 4 play out is it comes all the way to the bottom of the previous wave 4. But when wave 4 is a running flat like this, higher highs and higher lows, it doesn't necessarily come that far down, and the bottom ends up being, it would be 15,000 in this case. That would be your wave 4 low if you end up having an opportunity to buy there again. Seeing as the network, the way it works, having price come down that far would be very destructive to the network. Probably not going to get that low. So I think if you retrace just to test the highs here at 30,000 for the next bear market, I think that would probably be a very, very low point. And that could be not even this cycle. It could be, or the next cycle. This could be 2 cycles from now. You have something going on with either the network or the way new technologies, quantum computing, who knows, Michael Saylor could have to sell his whole stack to bring price down there. It's just often an area that we look for a retracement. And if that's the case, then you're not even completing wave 3 yet. Taking it from here, you have your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, retrace back. That's your wave 1 over here, and this is all just wave 3 in the third wave. So you've still got quite a ways to go. If you were to add on to that count, having this be a wave 1, that's your wave 2, all of this ends up being wave 3. You retrace back to wave 4 of a lesser degree, back to that area, back to this consolidation zone. Then you go up for wave 5. And this wave 5 eventually, like in the 2030s, could be an adoption wave where price, it goes far. Target on that is like 10 million to even farther. Let's try to project a target if that price action comes. So just take a trend-based fib extension from the bottom of wave 1 to the potential top of a wave 3 at say 400, 500,000, retrace back to 30,000, having the 618 extension get up to $58 million per Bitcoin. And that would be wave 3 complete. And then you will experience a very long and drawn out wave 4 to correct this entire move up to consolidate it. So then you'd be consolidating in the millions, in the tens of millions. That would be your wave 4. And then after that, you still have a wave 5 to complete a larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in order to run that out from the absolute beginning of Bitcoin, having a wave 1, wave 2, then all of this becomes wave 3, and that's kind of your markup phase. Then you have this distribution consolidation, and then you go up for one more wave, wherever the target be for that. Let's try to nail down a target. And from there, project, measure waves 1 and 3 projected from the bottom of 4, wherever that ends up being. Say it's $1 million, be a low. Your 618 extension gets to, what is that, 7 billion? No, $7.3 trillion per Bitcoin. Now that would be 40 years from now. So hold your horses on that. That would be real adoption, nation state adoption. It becomes the world's money, or it's the only thing that matters at that point, is whether or not you have Bitcoin. So could be the retirement scheme of holding an asset that can't be devalued or debased, and long term it gives you immutability, and it becomes a really scarce asset. I mean, that would have to be the most optimistic. That's assuming that Bitcoin works, and it is what the world is kind of shifting to. Very, very optimistic. A lot of hurdles still to overcome, but if it does come true, I mean, it's either going to zero or it's probably going to $7.3 trillion. Will any of us be holding Bitcoin at $7 trillion? I mean, your currency is probably defunct at that point, and we don't use money anymore, maybe, and it becomes a collector's item. Who knows? But that's the macro wave count pattern, just counting and measuring waves and getting targets based upon those waves. All speculation. Nothing has to play out. Still a long way to go. But as long as it keeps making higher highs and higher lows, the trend is still up. So in this markup phase, this is slow adoption until you end up, over millions of dollars per Bitcoin. Then you have implementation, and it is part of your financial system in earnest. And then you can have steady markups from there, and then a large consolidation between, trillions and trillions and whatever, and the asset would just move very slowly in this vicinity after, 50 years from now. Crazy to think about, but I like the charts. I play with the charts a lot, and that's one conclusion that you can have. Definitely doesn't have to play out, but for now, this cycle, I'm looking for an extension up to 333,000 to potentially almost a 500,000 per Bitcoin, maybe higher. Wave 5 can extend kind of high, and if we are repeating something like 2017, this can get quite euphoric, and it can go up faster than you would expect. If it does, then it's probably going to crash similar to the way it did in 2018. But if it's slow and steady, and it just has slow and steady growth, and it just keeps going until 2028, maybe it doesn't crash. Maybe you're all out of crashes, and there are no more great buying opportunities, and it's just something that people are allocating to on a weekly basis, and the number just continues to kind of float upwards. Of course, given the history of Bitcoin, that's not my base case, but currently that is the count that I've been working with since this vicinity. I actually thought this might be 1, 2, this projected to potential wave 3. I wanted wave 4 and a push up for an extended wave 5. Didn't come, got stopped out. And then once that wave was complete in 2022 to 2023, once that wave was complete, I measured the time that this took and the time that that took, and they're exactly 1 year down and 1 year down. So then I started matching that leg, or matching those two legs together, saying that makes for a really good ABC. And moving up here, you've got a very nice ABC. And you have 5 waves in C. So that's A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, completing an ABC up. Looking something like this. A, B, C. Works really good, and it came to a Fibonacci retracement that was right at invalidation. It actually invalidated by a few dollars. Was it? No, it actually didn't. Did it? Yeah, it did. I don't have the 1.618 retracement on here, but it came past the 1414 retracement, came to the 1.618 retracement, and reacted there. That usually is your invalidation of a B wave in Elliott wave theory, but given the volatility of Bitcoin, I mean, initially it invalidated for me and then revalidated and ended up coming down. So that's the count that I've been working with. And now on this count, still expecting higher, kind of expecting this to, based on Elliott wave theory, to have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, something like that into the target area. You know, above 300, probably below a 500,000, somewhere in there. You don't know where a straight wick is going to go. And if the party wants to keep going, I'm not going to get in its way. But there will be criteria that have to be maintained in order to maintain the trend. So we'll keep an eye on that and try to trade it in real time. Uh, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Spread the video if you like the count. But yeah, let's see where this goes. Have a good night. Keep them stops tight.